And we are now recording. So thank you very much for coming to the final Wednesday webinar of 2017. Today we're going to be talking about what is Annie's Project. We'd like to thank our sponsors of the Women in Agriculture program, as well as the many collaborators that we have around the state and the Mid-Atlantic region. Any questions you have, feel free to put them there in the chat box, and I can answer those as we go along. Happy to be talking today about Annie's Project. I'm Shannon Dill. I'm an extension educator in Talbot County. That's on the eastern shore of Maryland, and my co-chair working with this project is Jennifer Rhodes. She's an extension educator in Annie's Project. We have been co-chairs of the Maryland-Delaware Annie's Project since 2006, and we had our first Annie's Project class in the region in 2008. So we're very excited to be talking about it. We're extremely passionate about this program, and as extension educators, I can say it's probably one of the most rewarding programs that we've been involved with in our careers. So I always like to start the classes with talking about who was Annie, because it's called Annie's Project. And she was the inspiration from her daughter, the Annie's Project founder, Ruth Hamilton, and Annie was actually her mom. She married a farmer. Annie grew up in northern Illinois, and she married a farmer, and she spent a lifetime learning how to be an involved business partner and to have a successful farm. Together they did great things, but it wasn't easy. And Ruth created Annie's Project about her mom, and it's now nationwide, and I've got some maps I can show you. But Annie's Project is to take her experiences and share it with farm women, women in agriculture, living and working in what really is a complex business. So the objective of Annie's Project is to empower women in agriculture. It provides information in farm management and builds local networks throughout the state. And the target audience is the women with a passion for business, agriculture, and involvement in the farm operation. That's the one thing about Annie's Project is you don't have to be involved in one particular commodity. You could be a new and beginning farmer or an experienced and seasoned farmer and still be able to come to class, learn, and contribute within class. So no real specific commodities that you're growing. It's really about the farm management part of the ag business. The key principles of Annie's Project is to teach all 5 areas of agricultural risk. This is the financial piece, human resources, legal, marketing, and production. So those are identified by the USDA when they say risk management. Those are the 5 areas that the USDA categorizes risk management in. For the other key principles, the second is to invite local professionals to serve as guest instructors where possible. And for us in Maryland, we use a number of local professionals, whether it's an insurance agent, crop insurance agent, a CPA. We have a CPA come and speak, an attorney that speaks about business structures and about estate planning and farm transfer. We generally have a financial management person or someone in the lending and banking industry that comes in. We also work with our local organizations, so land preservation, soil conservation, maybe someone with the county government, zoning. We've worked with all of them within our Annie's Project to expose people to experts in the area and ideas around these core subjects, and to really be able to answer some of the tough questions that could come with something like estate planning or doing farm taxes. Number 3, we allocate half the time to class discussion and hands-on activities. So we do have a lot of time involved with talking about, maybe it's a session on insurance, and then we talk about insurance and what we've experienced, and we can learn so much from each other, and that really is part of the design of Annie's. We also find that the all-female audience really lends itself well to this discussion-based. Four really follows that extension mission of providing unbiased, research-based information to participants in the class. And the last is to create a learning environment where mentoring is spontaneous. And we've seen that with our classes. We really don't have a target market. We kind of we take a pre-class survey, and the age groups and the knowledge levels of farming are really all over the place. And so it's very common for there to be a question on a particular subject and someone in the class to be able to answer it or be an expert in it. So those are the key principles of Annie's project. Those are national principles. Here are the core values within Annie's project. And the first is safe harbor. Again, the all-female audience helps with this, maybe raises some comfort levels of asking questions or sharing information. All questions or situations are welcome for sharing and open discussion. So we really keep it in a very trusted environment and a safe harbor for participants to share. The second is connection, to keep each other and professionals introduced to them in the class. So really connecting each other, connecting to the local resources, to the professionals in either private industry or governmental associations or agencies. And those connections have lasted, have been wonderful connections that our participants have made over time. The third is discovery, the moment when something makes sense where it did not before. And I don't know if anybody can sympathize out there, but one of the sessions that we do on the Eastern Shore is green marketing. And we've had a few, we call them aha moments within those sessions. Maybe it's something more in the farm transfer or insurance that have said, yes, now, I've heard those terms, but it never really made sense to me. So discovery is a great part of the class. And the final core value is guided intelligence. And again, any one time, there may be someone in the audience who knows more about a subject being presented, an instructor or other participants, and is willing to share that information and that experience. So again, that piece of it really, I think, is unique to Annie's project. So we did bring Annie's project to Maryland. As we talked about in the second slide, it was founded in Illinois. In Maryland, Jenny and I had gone to a national conference, and we heard about this Midwestern program for women, and we wanted to expand it. We were very fortunate. We had a current farm management specialist. He's since retired, so a shout out to Wes Musser. He encouraged us to conduct Annie's in this region, and he provided grant funds to get started. So he provided us some funding to make the plans and plan those events. So in 2008 is when we had our first class. In 2010, through a Northeast Center for Risk Management grant, we expanded to multiple sites throughout the state. So our 2008 and 2009 classes were just at one location on the shore, and then we expanded from there. In 2015, we actually expanded and had a class in the Eastern Shore of Virginia. So we've been working closely with the this kind of Mid-Atlantic three-state area for Annie's. In the classroom, so a little bit about the actual classes. This is kind of the history and background, and Annie's now talking about, for participants, what they're going to get out of the class. The class meets approximately 6 to 8 times. We've done it differing times, always kind of building that snow day because we do have it in that January, February, March time frame. And it's about 3 hours per class. The first part of it, unless it's lunch, sometimes we do a lunch class. Most of the time it's in the evening, but there's always a meal for participants. That's part of the national model, and we feel very passionate about that as well. Participants can come, grab a plate, something nice, warm, meal, discuss classes last week, this week's activities, what's going on the farm, and that always is a great way for participants to get to know each other socially and the networking piece. So there's always a meal provided. Guest speakers and educators cover topics and themes, and we have built in plenty of time for discussion, questions, maybe some hands-on worksheets, maybe We've even done a little bit of group work, but to take time for topics and questions. Annie's project portfolios, we have a leather portfolio embossed with the logo that we provide, and it's helpful to organize information. Lots of papers that we get throughout the session, so it's a great way to organize it. And we also do a USB drive. It provides electronic documents that we use in class and maybe some extra ones that could be presentations, spreadsheets, and fact sheets. This is a sample agenda of our Mid-Shore class. Again, it varies in the different regions. We have session 1 is of course, we do an introduction. We always have a women in farm business. So someone that's in the region, that's well respected in the community, come in and talk about their personal experiences on a farm. It's a great way to start the class, gets everybody really excited. We also do kind of the personality testing quizzing, and that is a great way, again, to break the ice. It's also really helpful in your business to understand why, everyone is motivated differently and has a different perspective and outlook. And so the personality IQ is a great way to get started. And everyone talks about, well, this is the way it is on my farm, or I can see my sister being this way or my husband being that way. And so it's really helpful. We have sessions on business planning, farm insurance. We do a program with USDA FSA resources, some information on borrowing and lending, credit reports and personal finance. We feel very strong about that part of it. How can you get your farm finances in order if your home finances are not in order? So that's a session that we do. We also spend some time with web tools and using computers for the farm businesses, looking at spreadsheets, different computer programs that can be helpful in making farm decisions. We have a strong agricultural law initiative here in the state and the region, and so we have them come in and use their expertise for law updates. That could be on land titling, business structure, those type of topics, and we do cover crop insurance as well. Section 5, these are the ones we always outsource these to: tax considerations for farm business and estate planning and farm transfer. We have a local CPA and attorney that come in, and they do a wonderful job from especially a farm perspective. Very knowledgeable about farm operations, farm families, and so they can give a great farm perspective. This workshop was 6. We have had classes. I have this picture on here because we have done classes where we have just 1 or 2 classes where we are in a computer lab working on. We've partnered with our local community colleges and have used them. So this sample agenda doesn't have a computer lab time in it, but we have built those in the past. Session 6 is Annie's graduation, and I'm sorry for that one covered up, but it's marketing strategies. We have a whole session on marketing strategies, and we cover grain marketing and kind of that direct marketing as well. So here's some of our numbers. Our target audience by interest, women with a passion for agriculture, those interested in agriculture to those that have been on farms for decades, and people who want to learn and share. And while I've said it's for women, we do have a number of men that attend every year, either with or without their spouse. It's something that they want to learn. So we do allow male attendees. We also have male speakers. A number of our speakers are gentlemen that come in and do an excellent job teaching. So that's definitely, it's not just female or women exclusive. We have, since 2008, we're very proud of graduating 597 participants. We are hoping to hit the 600 mark in 2018. It's very exciting for us. We do a pre-class survey. So here are Annie's projects by the numbers. The average age is 46, total acres owned, total acres farmed, total years farming, and the average years farming. So this is just kind of a snapshot of what the typical Annie's project participant may be. But again, it's all over the board. Any questions as I go along, feel free to put those in the question or the chat pod. Um, so Annie's project, I don't know if I have a price. I think at the end I do have the price on here, but we do subsidize Annie's project a lot by getting grant funding and by sponsorship. So you saw the sponsor logos on the front. Annie's project is very inexpensive when you look at 6 or 8 nights out, the materials, the expertise, and the meals included. So part of all of those things is we do have to evaluate the classes. We set up this evaluation in 2008, and we've been following it ever since. So the bottom is the things that we want people to use when they leave Annie's. We want people to look at their insurance policy. We want them to review their property titles, to write business and marketing plans, to use computers, to check their credit report, to prepare financial statements, to update and create estate plans, and to increase communication and family relations. So the gray tab is at the end of class what people say they intend to do, and the yellow is an 18-month follow-up that we do that asks people, did you actually do it? And so this is a way that we have been able to ask that. Yeah, we have a great question about our instructors. Do we offer an honorarium for guest instructors? We never have offered an honorarium. We invite them for dinner so they can come have our meal with us. We've never, I think the only time that we have is we paid for computer lab space and a lab instructor. Other than that, insurance companies, lenders, CPAs, attorneys, all of them have done this for free. We do ask them not to sell their products, and we are very upfront that this is an educational event. This is not a sales pitch. They always have their contact information, maybe a business card, maybe some of their giveaways, but we've never offered an honorarium. That's a great question. The other thing that we want to know following up is if Annie's project has increased their farm profitability or their savings. And we've heard some great individual stories about, I reviewed my insurance claim and I changed, I realized what wasn't covered, and maybe they were able to reduce their coverage, reduce their interest rates, make the credit reports better. So when asked about increasing farm profitability, we did have a number of people that said that they were unsure, but 44% of the respondents that we've asked in the 18-month follow-up replied that they do feel they've increased farm profitability, that their farm's more profitable because of Annie's. And since 2008, they've increased farm profitability between about $2,300 and almost $4,000, with the average participant increasing about $3,700. And we do that on a scale. We ask them a scale. This is just some of the comments and quotes we ask about following the class. End of class, you can see some of the quotes. Great opportunity for women to share ideas. Women involved any way in agriculture can benefit from topics. Provides the inspiration, sparks initiative. Annie's project will change your destiny of both the farm and my personal business. And, some of that reconfirming and re-empowering as a business partner is helpful too. In the 18-month follow-up, you can see some of the quotes we've received. We've had people learn more about QuickBooks, and they're incorporating QuickBooks into their farm business. Better records, improved grain marketing, being able to sit down and planning for the farm's future. It's a really easy one. That doesn't have to be done today. So it's a very easy one to put off. And I think the Annie's project is something that kind of puts these long-term topics to the forefront, and you can almost get a checklist of things that you could follow up and do. Annie's project is FSA Borrower Training, approved for Maryland and Delaware, and I believe in many other states across the country. But we are approved for USDA Borrower Training, so if you're a USDA borrower and you're required to take a training, Annie's project will meet those requirements. So there's 2 steps in that requirement for training. One is to attend Annie's project with satisfactory attendance, participation, and discussion. And so once you've completed Annie's, we give out certificates. We do a small graduation. The second part is to complete a farm management workbook and return to the reviewer. So we have someone that reviews the farm management workbook. What we want to see is that the skills you learned during Annie's, you can put into use. So it's about a 20-page workbook. Goes through, a balance sheet, a cash flow statement, some of the financial forms, definitely that FSA wants to understand. For more about USDA loans, you can visit these websites, and to find a USDA office in your area, you can visit the state office website. Any question about borrower training, you can let me know. Any questions about your USDA loan, you can contact your loan officer. And we've had people who may not want to do, in Maryland, the correspondence courses are the other option, and we've had some people that just have had some difficulty either because of technology or, the ability to use, for high-speed internet to be able to use those courses. For us in Maryland, our keys to success have been educator and facilitator engagement. Again, working with Extension, working with facilitators across the state, working with our professionals in the industry have just been made Annie's project just so wonderful here. Those partnerships and collaborations internally and externally have been great. The grants and external funds through sponsorships have been extremely appreciated throughout the years, and it's been able to keep the fees very low to Annie's project. For some time, we had a part-time coordinator for the Women in Ag program, and that was very helpful to us. And then we've started marketing much more now through social media, word of mouth. I mean, in 2008, Facebook was kind of new, and USBs, we kind of laugh about the USBs. They were kind of a new thing. Now everyone's using cloud storage. They're using social media. We're doing a lot of our outreach through webinars. So we really have adapted to some of the technology options. Some of the funding, so the cost per participant for a Maryland class is $75. We estimate the actual cost about $250 when you add in the meals, all of those nights, the facilities, the portfolios, the USBs, and all the copies of the presentations. These are just some of the areas, some of the agencies and organizations that have provided grant funding to us, and we're very appreciative of that. We also have lots of sponsorship from business and industry, whether it's in kind, their time that they're devoting, or whether it's sponsorship dollars. So that's extremely helpful. The Annie's project really kind of got us started. We also had the conference that was happening. We've wrapped those into this MidAtlantic Women in Ag network. So we do Annie's project that I spoke about. We also have a program called Managing for Today and Tomorrow. We probably run it once a year, maybe every other year, and that's mainly just for estate planning and farm transfer. So it's a very good curriculum, but it's very specific in the audience it reaches. We've noticed here in Maryland more interest in people that are growing their business or getting started in farming as opposed to transferring the farm. We do have an annual Women in Agriculture conference. Those were the dates I announced in the beginning. This year, it's in February of 2018. Early bird registration goes through the end of 2017. We've offered farm tours in the region at different participants. Annie's project was really the reason why we had some of the farm tours is that we all got to know each other so well in class that we wanted to host our friends on our farms. So we've done a number of farm tours throughout the years. We have these monthly webinars. We also do the newsletters. We have our websites and social media outlets. Nationally, you can go, so we do follow the national program. This is, they were through, I believe, an extension service, and now they're a nonprofit. They've set up as a nonprofit. It's anniesproject.org. We get a lot of our Annie's Project participants that way. They go to the national office first, and they trickle down to us. And so it's a nonprofit dedicated to providing Annie's Project educational program. And there are currently classes being taught in 33 states. So we're just really proud that we're part of that network and that we can deliver that education. So here is just some of our links and contact information. We hope to see you at a local Annie's Project class soon. Any questions, feel free to put those in the chat pod or contact me after, sdill@umd.edu. And just a big thank you to our past participants and future participants. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Hope you find us on social media. There's a number of Annie's Project. If you're not in Maryland or Delaware, you probably could find through social media too. A number of us are posting on different events and things on social media. So thank you so much.